Skin is important for your theory short note. Okay, histology of skin is important, theory short note here. And asked in your viva, the layers of epidermis. Okay, so we'll discuss under these headings first introduction, then structure, epidermis and dermis, cells of the epidermis, blood supply and nerve supply of the skin, panniculus carnosus, this is fat layer just beneath the skin, sensory receptors present in the skin, appendages of skin, these are the appendages, hair, sebaceous gland, sweat gland, nails, erector pili muscle, these are lying nearby to the hairs and nail claving. Okay. So, skin is a part of integumentary system, consists of skin and the appendages of the skin. Okay, hairs, sebaceous gland, sweat gland, nails, all those are included. So, skin consists of two layers. This term comes in your MCQ. Skin is included in which system? Okay, integumentary system. Skin consists of two layers, epidermis and dermis. There are hair follicles and hairs, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, nails and mammary glands. They are modification of nails. You have fingernails and toenails, and mammary glands are modifications of this sweat gland. Okay, so all those are skin appendages. Next. So, what are the functions of the skin? Skin provides mechanical protection to the underlying tissues. And in this connection, we have noted that the skin is thickest over the areas exposed to greatest friction, like palm and sole. They are exposed to greatest friction. So, there is thick skin in the palm and sole. Rest of the areas, there are hairs and it is thick, thin skin. Okay, rest of the body is covered by thin skin. Skin also acts as a physical barrier against the entry of microorganisms and other substances. And the skin prevents loss of water from the body. The importance of this function is seen in patients who have lost extensive areas of skin through the burn. Okay, in the burn patient, you have to give fluid replacement because they cannot hold the fluid. Vaporization of fluid occurs due to destruction of the skin. So, fluid replacement is most important in the burn patients. Okay. Next, the pigment present in the epidermis protects the tissues against harmful effects of light, especially the ultraviolet light. It damages the skin, and the pigment cells present melanocytes, they protect from this ultraviolet light. And the skin offers protection against damage of tissues by chemicals, by heat, and by osmotic influences. Skin is very important sensory organ containing receptors for touch and related sensations. And skin plays important role in regulating the body temperature. Okay, when the body temperature increases, sweating occurs. It will decrease the temperature. Okay, and when there is body temperature decreases, blood supply to the skin will decrease. Okay, next. So, these are the two types of skin depending on the thickness of the epidermis, thick skin and thin or hairy skin. Okay. Next, we will discuss this in details. So, histologically, skin consists of these two layers, epidermis and dermis. Epidermis is the superficial layer and that consists of keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, and dermis is the deep layer and that is made up of connective tissue. Okay, dense irregular connective tissue is present, we have discussed during connective tissue classes in the dermis. Next, these layers are very important for your viva and MCQ, layers of the epidermis. Okay, and you draw one thick skin and one thin skin in your histology copy. Thick skin and thin skin you have to draw for your histology. Okay, and prepare the dermis as a short note. So epidermis consists of keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. This is important for your MCQ and Viva, very frequently asked question. Epidermis consists of keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, and it shows 5 layers of cells, and their cells are lying from basal to the surface layer. This stratum basale, then stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum. This layer is only present in thick skin, and stratum corneum. So these are the 5 layers of the epidermis. Next, see here. See, this is the basal layer, single layer of cuboidal to low columnar cells. Then there is the stratum. This is basal layer, stratum basale or stratum germinativum. After that, this is stratum spinosum. Okay, cells shows spicules. During the preparation of the slide, these are artifacts are formed. So that's why the name is given. Spinous processes are present, so stratum spinosum. Here is the stratum granulosum. Okay, keratohyalin granules are present within the cell, stratum granulosum, and above it stratum corneum. Okay, so below this granulosum will be stratum lucidum in case of thick skin, that is absent in the thin skin. And see, these are the cells in the layers of stratum spinosum. You can see the spicules on the margin of the cells, spines over the cell surface, and melanin pigment in the supranuclear region. Melanin pigments are brown in color. These are also known as prickle cells due to presence of these spine-like processes. Okay, and they are present in stratum spinosum layer. So we are discussing all these layers in details. First is stratum basale. It is the deepest layer of the epidermis cells. It consists of a single layer of cuboidal to low columnar cells, and that rest on the basal lamina. And in HE staining slide, the cells show basophilic cytoplasm and melanin pigments. Next, what are the functions of this layer? These cells divide mitotically to give rise to keratinocytes. These are cells of the skin, and that form superficial layers of the skin. Hence, the stratum basale is also called stratum germinativum. Okay, germinativum means it has dividing property. Okay, divide mitotically to give rise cells of other layers. Next. Next, we are going to stratum spinosum, also known as Malpighian layer. Other term is important. Above the stratum basale, several layers thick stratum spinosum is present here. Keratinocytes of the stratum spinosum are polygonal cells, and that are connected with adjacent cells by desmosomes. Desmosomes are cell junctions. Okay. Spines are the artifact. During preparation of tissue for sectioning, the cells often shrink, and but these keratinocytes, which are prickle cells, they remains adherent with each other at the site of desmosomes, and it creates spines over the surface of the cells at the site of desmosomes. Okay. Next is node of Bijojero. It is site of thickened zone of desmosomes on the light microscope. Okay, in some areas, this zone of desmosome is thickened and forming this area, node of Bijojero. Next, stratum granulosum. Okay, stratum granulosum consists of 1 to 3 cell thick layer of keratinocytes. Here, this 1 to 3 layers of keratinocytes. This is forming stratum granulosum. The cells of stratum granulosum contains granules of keratohyalin protein. Okay, keratohyalin granules are important features of this layer, and hence the name stratum granulosum. And keratohyalin is a precursor of filigree protein, and that on aggregation forms the keratin filaments. In HE staining, the cells of stratum granulosum are intensely basophilic due to keratohyalin granules. Okay. Next, we are going to stratum lucidum. Lucid means clear. This layer appears clear and present only in the thick skin. Okay, that's why it is important for your Viva and MCQ. Stratum lucidum. In HE staining, cells of the stratum lucidum are stained lightly with the eosine and appears homogeneous, and their cell boundaries are indistinct, and the nuclei and cell organelles become disrupted and disappear towards the superficial layer. And some authors consider stratum lucidum as a part of stratum corneum. Okay, so above this stratum granulosum will be another layer present in the thick skin only, that is stratum lucidum. Next is stratum corneum. This layer is stratum corneum. It is the most superficial layer of the epidermis, and the cells of stratum corneum are non-nucleated flat cells. You can see violet nucleus are present in all these layers, but here no nuclei are present. Okay, understood? That's how you have to draw during the histology drawing. Okay, and prepare is for important short note, histology of the skin. So this is the most superficial layer of the epidermis, and the cells of stratum corneum are non-nucleated flat scale-like squamous cells, dead cells. They don't have nucleus, that's why they are dead cells, and they do not have cell organelles also. The cells of stratum corneum are filled with keratin filaments, and these cells are held together by extracellular lipid and carbohydrates, and that form a glue-like substance. Extracellular lipids make the skin water impermeable, and thickness of the stratum corneum depends on the amount of friction to which skin is exposed. Stratum corneum is very thick in the palms and soles, okay, in thick skin. Superficial cells of stratum corneum are being constantly shed off and are replaced by proliferation of stratum germinativum, stratum basale. Okay, next. So we have discussed all the layers of the epidermis. Okay, next we are going to the dermis. Dermis is made up of connective tissue containing collagen fiber bundles, blood vessels, lymphatics, nerve fibers. Okay, so see here, this part is the epidermis. Okay, below the epidermis, whole of this area is the dermis, and below the dermis, here is the hypodermis. Here lies the adipose tissue forming the panniculus carnosum. Okay, and these are the different appendages are located within the dermis. See, this is the shaft of the hair follicle. Surrounding the hair follicle, some tissues are there, and there is one muscle. This muscle helps in erection of the hair follicle during cold. Okay, that is known as arrector pili muscle. Okay, and this is sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland is opening into the hair follicle, and these are sections of some sweat gland. Okay, here is another hair follicle is present. This is also sweat gland. So all these appendages are present in the dermis. And see, these are the sections of some blood vessels, sections of lymphatics, collagen fiber bundles, connective tissue cells you will see within the dermis. Okay. So dermis has two layers, papillary layer and reticular layer. Papillary layer of dermis, it lies just deep to the basal lamina of the epidermis. Here is the basal lamina of epidermis, just beneath it, here is the papillary layer of the dermis. And it consists of loose connective tissue. It shows finger-like projections into the undersurface of the epidermis, and these projections are called dermal papilla. You can see these finger-like projections from the dermis into the epidermis. These are known as dermal papilla. And dermal papilla and epidermal ridges. And in between this dermal papilla, the epidermis is projecting downward. These are known as epidermal ridges. Okay, dermal papilla and epidermal ridges. And due to the presence of this dermal papilla and epidermal ridges, they are longer in the skin where mechanical stress is more. For example, skin of palm and dorsum of the hand. And epidermis also protrude into the dermis in the form of epidermal ridges, also known as ridges. Okay. Next, the dermal papilla create superficial elevations pattern on the surface of the epidermis. Fingerprints are developed due to presence of this dermal papilla. Okay, and it is called dermal ridges, and the pattern of dermal ridges is unique to each individual and genetically determined. They are different in genetically different persons. Okay, the fingerprints and the dermatoglyphics or fingerprint pattern form the basis for study of many genetic disorders. Okay, next, this is also used for identification of a person, so medical legal importance is there. Okay, next we are going to, in transmission electron microscopy, hemidesmosomes attaches the basal cells of epidermis with the basal lamina, and in immunohistochemistry papillary layer contains type 1 and type 3 collagen fibers. These are visible via these techniques. Next we are going to second layer, that is reticular layer. Reticular layer of dermis lies deep to the papillary layer. So here is the papillary layer and below it whole of this is the reticular layer. It is lies deep to the papillary layer. Reticular layer is thicker and less cellular than the papillary layer, and it consists of thick irregular bundles of type 1 collagen fibers and the elastic fibers. Okay, next. See here, all the layers of epidermis have been shown. Stratum basale or stratum germinativum. Here is the stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum corneum. This is thin skin. Okay, and spinosum layer, the cell spines over the cell surface have been shown, and the melanin pigments. Next. Here is the dermis, epidermis, here is the dermis, two divisions, papillary dermis, reticular dermis. Okay, within the dermis, different skin appendages have been shown. And here the layers of the epidermis is also visible, stratum basale, spinosum, granulosum, corneum. Okay. And like this you will see under the microscope. You have seen already skin slide, connective tissue. So this part is the epidermis and dermis, and this part is the hypodermis. Below this dermis is the hypodermis, and you can see within the hypodermis there is bunch of adipose tissue cells, signature appearance and foamy appearance. These are the adipose tissue cells. These are forming the panniculus carnosus. Okay, adipose tissue layer beneath the skin. Next. Okay. Here is the thick skin. You can see the different layers in the epidermis. Stratum lucidum is present. Okay. Stratum basale, then stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, and then stratum lucidum. Stratum lucidum is a clear layer like this, and after that thick layer of keratin. Thick layer of keratin forming the stratum corneum. Okay, so these two diagrams you draw in your histocopy. The previous one for thin skin and this one for thick skin. Okay, understood? And write down two identification points, 2 to 3 identification points for each. Next, and rest of the things is same. See here, there is no hair follicle. That is the main difference. No hair follicle, and other appendage only sweat glands are present. Sebaceous gland is also not present that much. And the hypodermis, there will be connective tissue and some adipose tissues, sections of blood vessels, collagen fiber bundles that will be present. Next. This is high power view, layers of epidermis. This is basal layer, stratum basale or stratum germinativum. Here is the stratum spinosum, have projections, okay, spiny processes between the keratinocytes. Here is the stratum granulosum, contain purple keratohyalin granules, okay, keratohyalin granules sustained violet. And after that, this will be the stratum corneum, okay. Right, next. So like this you will see under microscope some of the slides you have seen like this. Epidermis papillary dermis, reticular dermis. These are the some hair erector pili muscle, hair follicle, sebaceous glands, sections of sweat glands. Okay, and below the dermis there will be adipose tissue, some muscle fibers will be there. So like this you will see under the microscope for thin skin. Previous one also you can see. Next, and like this you will see in, this is high power view, this is low power view for thick skin. Okay, no hair follicle, only sweat gland, sections of sweat glands is visible in the dermis, papillary dermis, reticular dermis, and epidermis. Epidermis is thick, thick layer of keratin is present. Okay, this is very important feature for the thick skin. And see this high power view, here is the stratum basale, spinosum, granulosum containing keratohyalin granules, and then stratum lucidum. This clear layer is the stratum lucidum, and then thick layer of stratum corneum. Okay, understood? The keratin layer. This is important feature of thick skin. Next. So this is the summarization of epidermis and dermis. Epidermis has stratum basale, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum, stratum corneum. Stratum basale is single layer of small columnar cells. Stratum spinosum have prickle cells with spinous processes several layers thick. Stratum granulosum is 4 to 5 layer thick. Cells contain keratohyalin granules. And stratum lucidum, it is present only in the thick skin, and translucent layer of dead cells are present here. And stratum corneum, 15 to 20 cells thick layer, cells are dead, no nuclei or cell organelle is present in stratum corneum. And dermis has two layers, superficial papillary layer, deep reticular layer. Papillary layer shows dermal papilla, and reticular layer, it shows irregular dense connective tissue. Okay, understood? So this is summarization of skin. Next, these are the difference between thick skin and thin skin asked in your viva. Stratum lucidum is present in thick skin, absent in the thin skin. Thickness of the epidermis varies. Here it is 0.6 to 4.5 millimeter, 0.01 to 0.15 millimeter. See the difference, thickness of the epidermis. Epidermal ridges are present, here it is absent. Okay, hair follicles are absent, in thick skin it is present. Erector pili muscle is absent, here it is present. Sebaceous gland is absent, here thin skin present. Sweat glands are many in the thick skin, sweat glands are few in the thin skin. And sensory receptors or Merkel cells, they are more in the thick skin and they are less in the thin skin. And location of thick skin is skin of palm and sole, and thin skin, skin except over the palm of sole, rest of the area thin skin. Okay, understood? Next. Next we will discuss different cells of the epidermis in details. Okay, so skin has four types of cells: keratinocytes, melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and Merkel cells. Keratinocytes consist of 85% of the cells of the skin. Okay, and they constitute approximately 85% of the cells of the skin. Predominant cell type. What are the functions? They production of keratins and formation of epidermal water, and deeper layers of keratinocytes are basophilic due to the presence of rough endoplasmic reticulum, and it is required for synthesis of the keratin proteins. Okay, and they form keratin filaments or tonofilaments. These are intermediate filaments. Keratohyalin granules, these are clinical marker for initiation of apoptosis. Okay, after the stratum granulosum, there will be dead layers, lucidum and corneum. They have dead cells, no nuclei. So, keratohyalin granules are clinical marker of initiation of apoptosis. Apoptosis means cell death. Okay. Next, and they help in keratinization, and lamellas of stratum spinosum produces ovoid membrane bound organelle called lamellar bodies. Okay, next. Next is the melanocytes. Melanocytes, they are derivatives of neural crest cells and present in the stratum germinativum or stratum basale. Okay, melanocytes. Here, one melanocyte have been shown here. Okay, it has processes containing the melanin granules. So they are derivatives of neural crest cells. This is important for your MCQ. Okay, melanocytes derivatives from embryology it comes. Present in the stratum germinativum or stratum basale, it shows dendrite-like processes arising from a rounded cell, and the processes of melanocytes run in between the keratinocytes. Okay, and they synthesize the melanin. This is the function of melanocytes. Next we are going to dendritic cells of Langerhans. Here is one Langerhans cells present. They are antigen presenting cells of the epidermis, and they arise from lymphoid precursor cells of the bone marrow, and these cells lie in the stratum spinosum of the skin, oral mucosa, vagina and thymus in the specific locations only. Langerhans bodies or Birbeck bodies or tennis racket shaped bodies, Birbeck granules. There's malignant transformation occurs in Langerhans cells to form histiocytosis X. This is disease condition. They are responsible for delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. There are 4 types of hypersensitivity reaction. Okay, so Langerhans cells responsible for delayed type or hypersensitivity reaction. And in AIDS patients, Langerhans cells may show presence of HIV virus and may act as a reservoir of the HIV virus. Okay, next. Next, we are going to cells of Merkel here. This is one cells of Merkel cell. They are sensory cells responsible for cutaneous sensation located in the stratum basale, and Merkel cells are mechanoreceptors. Faithfully represents the Braille's text or characters useful for blind people. Okay, sensory nerve endings are present in relation to the Merkel cell. Here it is connected to the sensory nerve endings, which is passing through the dermis and going to our spine eventually. So sensory nerve endings are present in relation to the Merkel cells, and these cells are more abundant in the fingertips, oral mucosa and hair follicles. And Merkel cell carcinoma is a rare condition, but it is highly aggressive type of skin cancer. Okay, next. So all those cells have been shown here. Here is the Langerhans cells lying in the stratum spinosum. Cells are derived from bone marrow, lie in stratum spinosum, function act as antigen presenting cell, migrate to lymph node and present antigen to the T cells for destruction. Here is the Merkel cell derived from neural crest cells associated with basal lamina of the epidermis. Function is tactile localization, mechanoreceptors. And here is one melanocyte here. It is also derived from neural crest cells, and their cell bodies lie in stratum basale and processes enter between the adjacent keratinocytes. Function is synthesis of melanin and transfer it to the keratinocytes. And this is one this is melanocyte. These are the processes, and here you can see the melanin granules. They are synthesized by the melanocytes. Next we are going to sensory receptors of skin. This comes in your short note. Okay, sensory receptors of the skin. Skin is enriched by free nerve endings, Pacinian corpuscles, Meissner's corpuscles and Ruffini's corpuscles. They have different functions. Okay, these are the different sensory receptors: free nerve ending, Pacinian corpuscle, Meissner's corpuscle, Ruffini's corpuscles, end bulb of Krauss and Merkel's disc. These are the different receptors. See, Merkel's discs you already seen. They are lying in the stratum basale. Okay. Next, there is free nerve ending. Here, free nerve ending is lying like this. They sense the fine touch, heat, cold, pain sensation, and hair movement senses. These are the function of free nerve ending. Next is end valve of Krauss. Here is the location of end valve of Krauss. Okay, this is located in the dermis mainly, and they helps in sensing the cold temperature. End valve of Krause. Next is Rufinis corpuscle. This is also present in the dermis. They sense the stretch and torque sensation. Okay, functions are important. You remember the names and the functions and their location. Next is Pacinian corpuscle. In the hypodermis, dermis hypodermis junction, they sense the deep pressure and vibration. Deep in location, so they sense the deep pressure and vibration. Next is Meissner's corpuscle, dermoepidermal junction. This is the location of Meissner's corpuscle, and they sense the light touch. Okay, so these are the different sensory receptors of the skin. This is important short note. You prepare as a short note, sensory receptors of the skin. Next. So these are the identification point you write down for thick skin in your histocopy. Outer epidermis formed of stratified squamous epithelium with thick keratin layer. And inner dermis connective tissue with sections of sweat glands and their ducts are seen. No hair follicles or sebaceous glands are seen. Okay, so you draw a diagram for thick skin and write down these points on the right side. This diagram you can draw for thick skin. You take this diagram. Okay, thick stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, stratum basale. Okay, and this is the basal lamina, epidermal papilla, dermal papilla, and here is the dermis. Papillary dermis, reticular dermis. Okay, and here are some sections of sweat gland. Only sections of sweat glands are present in thick dermis, thick skin. Next. And thin skin, you write down these points. Outer epidermis, stratified squamous epithelium with thin keratin layer. Inner dermis contain connective tissue with hair follicles, sebaceous glands, arrector pili muscle, and sections of sweat glands are seen. Okay, so these points you write down for thin skin. Next, this diagram you draw for thin skin. Okay, these are the different layers of epidermis. Keratin layer is thin, lucidum, stratum lucidum is absent, and here epidermal papilla, dermal papilla. Okay, hair follicle, sebaceous gland, arrector pili muscle, sections of sweat glands, and here is the hair root of hair. So dermis, papillary dermis, reticular dermis, and this is hypodermis containing this adipose tissue cells. Okay, and some sections of blood vessels. These are sections of blood vessels that also you have to draw, and connective tissue bundles, connective tissue cells. Okay, so you have to draw this diagram for thin skin. Next. Okay. Okay, next we are going to different appendages, skin appendages we will discuss shortly. Okay, first we will discuss the hair. So histological structure of hair, hair has a hair shaft and root and a hair follicle. Hair shaft and root has these three parts. First is medulla, then cortex, then cuticle from inside outward. Okay, first medulla is large keratinized cells only present in the thick hairs. Cortex have several layers of cornified cells. Then there is cuticle. Cuticle has several layers of keratinized squamous cells. Next, hair follicle. Hair follicle has a inner root sheath, outer root sheath, and dermal connective tissue sheath. Inner root sheath, it has Henle's layer, which is single layer of cuboidal cells with nuclei, and Huxell's layer. It has double layer of flattened cells, and cuticle have squamous cells. And outer root sheath has rounded nucleated cells, and there is also dermal connective tissue sheath. Okay, you just know the names of different appendages, they don't come in your details in theory. Okay, next. Okay, so hair covers entire body except these following sides. This is important for your viva and MCQ. Hairs where hairs are not present: palm, sole, sides of hand and feet, lips, ventral surface, and sides of the digits and part of the genitalia. And hair growth and texture are influenced by different hormones. Parts of hair, these are the parts: shaft, root, bulb, hair papilla, and hair follicle. Okay, next. Hair shaft and root consist of keratinized cells, and hair is considered as modified part of stratum corneum of the epidermis. Hair has three parts: cuticle, cortex, and the medulla. Next. Hair follicle, the dermoepidermal covering of hair root forms a knob-like structure called hair follicle, and hair follicle produces hair. Each of the hair follicle has these following parts: infundibulum, isthmus, follicular bulge, bulb, and dermal papilla. And the wall of the hair follicle consists of these three layers: inner root sheath, outer root sheath, and dermal connective tissue sheath. Next. Inner root sheath is multi-layered cellular coat, covers the deep part of the hair, and it consists of the following three layers from outside inward: Henle's layer, Huxley's layer, and cuticle. An outer root sheath is continuous with stratum spinosum of the epidermis, consists of rounded nucleated cells. An outer root sheath is separated from the dermal connective tissue sheath by a thick glassy membrane or basal lamina. Next. Next is the matrix cells or hair matrix. These are the cells that surround the bulb and dermal papilla, and these cells are derived from follicular bulge. And the matrix cells divide and provide continuous supply of cells for hair growth. And the melanocytes are scattered among the matrix cells, and these melanocytes transfer the melanin to the developing hair cells. Okay. Next. See, this is the hair follicle, structure of the hair, different layer. Innermost is the matrix, outside is the cortex, then cuticle of hair. These are forming the hair shaft. Outside the cuticle is cuticle of the inner root sheath, then Huxley's layer and Henle's layer. These three are together forming the inner root sheath. Outside it will be the outer root sheath, and then surrounding connective tissue, and here is the dermal papilla projecting into this root of the hair. Okay. Next. This is one section of the hair follicle. It looks like this. This is the cortex. Here inside is the medulla, outside is cortex, and then cuticle. They are forming the hair shaft. It is looking brown. And outside it, these are the coverings: inner root sheath, Henle's layer, Huxley's layer, cuticle, outer root sheath, dermal connective tissue sheath, all are surrounding the shaft. Next. Okay, these are the phases of hair growth: anagen, catagen, telogen, and hairs may be terminal hairs and vellus hair. One important clinical aspect is alopecia areata. Okay, you will read during the Dharma. Okay, this is known as spot baldness. In this condition, hairs are lost in a small area of the body, alopecia areata. Okay, you will see patients. Next. So this is histological picture of the hair. Okay, this is shaft of the hair, different layers of covering, dermal papilla hair. This is sebaceous gland is opening here. Okay, next. Next we are going to sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands are holocrine, simple saccular gland present in the dermis, and usually sebaceous glands opened into pilosebaceous canal at the infundibulum of the hair follicle by short duct. And the hair independent sebaceous glands are found in the lips, areola of the nipple known as Montgomery's tubercle, labia minora, and inner surface of the prepuce. These are the locations where sebaceous glands are present independent, and each sebaceous gland is having two portions: one secretory portion, those are alveoli, and broad short duct lined by stratified squamous epithelium. And each alveolus consists of mass polyhedral cells, and usually alveolus do not have any lumen. Next. Each alveolus is lined by basal cells and secretory cells. Basal cells are outermost cells, rest on the basement membrane, and the basal cells divide mitotically to form the inner secretory cells. And secretory cells resemble the multilocular adipocytes. These cells are large polygonal cells with big rounded nucleus, and the cytoplasm of the secretory cells is filled with the lipid droplet. And in HE staining during preparation, lipid droplets get washed out, hence the cytoplasm is stained lightly with eosine, and shows the foamy appearance. And how it is secretion occurs? Secretory cells synthesize and accumulate sebum, and during this process, these cells undergo apoptosis, cell death, holocrine secretion. At the end, entire dead cell debris and lipids get secreted into the duct as the sebum, oily secretion. And the mode of secretion is called holocrine secretion. Sebaceous gland produces cathelicidin and beta defensin that improve the water barrier function of the skin. See here, this is the basal cells and here are the secretory cells. And here is one hair shaft. The duct is opening near the hair shaft. Okay, sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland is appear like this in the histology sections. Okay, it will stain like this in HE staining. Degenerating sebum secreting cells, here secretory cells, and here is the basal cells. Okay, and they are opening into the near the hair shaft. This is hair shaft. Next, glands related to skin include the different sweat gland, apocrine and eccrine sweat gland. Here is one apocrine sweat gland. Merocrine secretion is also there, and this is eccrine sweat gland. Apocrine sweat gland, this opens near the hair follicle, and eccrine sweat gland directly opens into the skin. Okay, and here is the sebaceous gland opening into the hair follicle, and this is arrector pili muscle. Okay, helps in erection of the hair follicle. Next, so sweat gland produces sweat and perspiration. Two types of sweat glands are there: eccrine, typical or merocrine sweat glands, and apocrine is atypical sweat glands. And apocrine glands examples also include the glands of Moll in the eyelids and ceruminous glands of external acoustic meatus. These are apocrine glands. Next. So eccrine sweat glands are simple coiled tubular gland, and they are distributed all over the body except the lips and external genitalia. And these glands are most numerous in the palms and soles, forehead, scalp and axilla. Okay, where there is no hair follicles, mainly palms and sole. And they play a major role in the regulation of body temperature. Eccrine sweat gland has two parts, one duct and body or fundus. Okay, this not important. Next slide, Joe. Okay, so lining epithelium consists of these three types of cells. It has a secretory part. Secretory part consists of inner lining epithelium, basal lamina, and surrounding connective tissue dermis. These are the cells of the secretory part: clear cells, dark cells, and myoepithelial cell. Helps in secretion. Next is apocrine. You remember the two terms, apocrine sweat gland and the eccrine sweat gland, and their locations only. Next. Okay, so this how it will look like. This is duct of the sweat gland, secretory part of the sweat gland. Okay, this will look like this in histological picture. Next. Next we are going to nails. Nails provide the support to the fingertip to carry out many movements. Nails are modified zones of epidermis. Okay, and nails consist of tough protein called the alpha keratin. Structure of nail, it shows these following parts: nail plate, nail bed, germinal matrix and proximal nail fold. See here, this is nail plate, thick plate. Just below the plate is the nail bed. Here is the nail bed. Okay, and this skin fold just beneath the nail plate, this is hyponychium. And here is the eponychium. And here lies the nail matrix from where the nails is growing. Okay, and this light colored portion near the base of the nail plate, this is known as lunula. And on the two, here is the proximal nail fold, and on the two sides will be lateral nail folds. Okay, next. Here is the lunula, sterile matrix, lateral nail folds, lateral nail walls, lateral nail grooves, and eponychium and hyponychium. You have seen hyponychium, eponychium, cuticle. Cuticle is the outermost covering, and perionychium on periphery of the nail. That part of skin is known as perionychium. Next. Okay, so this diagram you can practice if nail comes, not that much important. Okay, and this is showing the bone terminal phalanx, and this space is closed space, palm space. Okay, we will discuss later. Next. Okay, that's all. So these are the skin appendages. Okay, hair, nails, sebaceous gland, sweat glands.